Yo, what the deal? It's your boy X.E.L.O. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you. Yes, you. Thank you for coming back. But if you are new here, do me a favor and like, subscribe, hit the bell notification so I'll let you know when I drop another video. Today, what I want to do is actually go over the samplers that come inside of Tracktion Waveform 13. Yes, we are doing another Tracktion Waveform video. I'm kind of excited about this one. I want to actually show you how they compare to the Komplete Kontrol sampler, which I usually use when I'm in Cakewalk or Reaper or any of the other DAWs. I kind of like that Komplete Kontrol feel, and I'm going to show you some of the comparisons of why. Let's go. All right, so here we are in Tracktion Waveform. And if you didn't know, that Tracktion Waveform actually comes with like 4 different kind of, I guess, samplers, you can say, in a way. So the one that comes with the free version are like the micro ones, or the micro drummer and the micro sampler actually come inside of the free version. So you'll be able to actually use those. And I'm going to show you the other ones that come with the pro version of Tracktion Waveform as well. So let's get into it. All right, so I'm just going to kind of drag and drop them. So usually you can go through your search over here and go through plugins. I'm using the Waveform plugin, drop down instruments, and these are the instruments that come. So I'm going to do, let's start with the micros. So I'm going to do the micro drum sampler first. I'm going to drop that over here. Let's move that out the way. Let's do the micro sampler. I'm going to put them all on separate tracks. And then we're going to do the drum sampler. And what's cool is that they do actually, if you want to have like a multi-out for it, for the wrapper, for the drum sampler. And that's because it comes with the Pro 13. So the Pro gives you the option to kind of have like create multi-outs for those samplers inside of Waveform, which is really cool. But I'm just going to do a single one for right now. And we're going to do the multi-sampler, right? And once again, it asks you for the multi-out if you want to. I'm just going to do a single out for it. And just to add another one, I'm going to do Komplete Kontrol. And once again, that asks if I want to do multi, and I'm not. All right. So let's start with the first one, which is the micro drum sampler. All right. So now that we have all the drum kits set up in here, what I'm going to do is click on this first one, which is the micro drum sampler. So right here is a really cool little sampler. This little hamburger doesn't do much. You can do like a voice streaming on here, or you could do a panic to stop a sound, right? So this is an option to go backwards, forwards. And in here, you can actually see what kits you have available. You can also save a kit if you wanted to. If you wanted to add drums in here, it's pretty simple to actually do that as well. You have other banks that you have. So you have an A bank, a B bank, a C bank, and a D. So you can have them all along these different rows, right? This is where you can actually go and get your sound. So I'm going to add just a kick in here just so you can see how it kind of works. Right, so this is my bipolar kick. So if you do download the Smash kit, like I said, the link is available below in the description of this video. So definitely download it. It's free. So so now you can see the waveform itself. You have your start point right here, so you can start it earlier, right? You can start it later, or should I say you can end it earlier. So if you wanted to, you can end it earlier. So you also have what the name of the track is going to be called. Right now it says side stick. So you can always change that, right? So I could change my drum icon. Let's make it a kick or bass, right? And you can always change the color. Let's change it to red. You can also add it to a choke group, which is really, really cool. And you can also delete the sound from here, right? You can also change where the sound starts. So right now, this is C2, so I'm going to change it to C3, right? So C3 is here. So now I change that note to C3, and the C2 is no longer working, right? So it gives you an option to change even that. I think that's really cool. So if you have like a drum machine and you kind of want to move things to where they should be, this gives you an option to do that as well. I think that's really cool. Here's another volume. You have another volume up here. So you have a gain here, you have a gain down here. You have your pan, you have a velocity sensitivity. So this makes it more sensitive to how hard you hit the. See, like I'm barely touching it and it's playing at full volume. So if I change this velocity sensitivity, see, it's a lot more sensitive, right? So now you have a sensitive velocity for the kick. I'm not sure what this one does, but this one here is to mute the sound, so no sound, right? So I think this is really cool, but that's kind of the limits of where you have. And another way, if you wanted to actually learn, do a mini learn, you can click on here and it'll give you an option to place the keys where you want them to be, or on a pad or whatever you actually have available. You can actually map out your pads really easy with this as well. And then you can load them up right here, load your pads or save your layout, whichever one you want to do. So I think that's really, really cool that they have that in here. Like I said, you have other kits. I have other kits because I have the pro version. So the hip hop kit is actually pretty cool. Right? So you have all these different options for this micro sampler. So let's move on to another sampler. All right, so here we are in the micro sampler. So this is the micro sampler. This one also comes with the free version of Tracktion Waveform. So don't worry about it. These actually give you an option to kind of drop samples on this side. So this is what they call a scratch pad over in this section here. So you can do like a whole bunch of different types of samples. So I have a Cymatics one in here now. I'm just going to play it. Right, so you have that option to kind of use the samples in here. I think that's always been really cool to be able to do that. You have an option for your the sounds in your zones. You have zones over here. So if I wanted to use this, and I would have to just drag it into the sampler. So it's going to ask me, do you want to copy it? I'm not going to copy it. Right, so now. Right, so now you have it set up on the sampler itself. So here is the keyboard layout. So you could do a tracking mode, you could do a resample, you could do a fixed pitch or a pitch shift. So the resample will make it slow down. So if you do a fixed pitch, doesn't matter which key you hit, is going to be the same exact pitch. So the pitch shift is going to shift the pitch of the sample. So but it will play at the same tempo of the sample. It just will do it a pitch higher or a pitch lower. I think that's pretty cool as well. So it does have a couple of options in here. You can change your starting note. You can do different synths in here. You could change the level with the dB. This is your gain right here. This is the option to reverse the sample. So if you want to reverse it, you click on this and you can reverse it. So I think that's really, really cool. And this is an option to loop your sample so you don't have to keep looping it yourself. You can actually have it loop when it gets to the end. You have your start and end markers, so you can do, you can do just a little piece if you wanted to. Let's say we just did here, right? And you see how it stops. So if you wanted to loop that, you can actually click on the loop. And I'm going to keep it. Right, so that's what the loop actually does in there. So fairly simple way to actually set things up. And you have your ADSR over here, so you can change your ADSR if you wanted to. So your attack, decay, sustain, and release. Here's your another gain on here. So you have a gain up here and a gain down here. And here is your velocity sensitivity. So it'll make it so if however hard you press the keys, your pen, and you also have your pitch for your sample itself. So really, really cool sampler. But that's kind of like the limits of it on here. So I'm going to go to the next sampler now. All right. And if you have the pro version, this is the drum sampler that comes with that. And of course, it has that same A, B, C, and D sections that you have, but instead of it being on the bottom, it is now up here where you can actually see it a lot easier. Here is your MIDI learn here as well. You have an option for MPE on here now, and you have an option for mono. So basically, if you have like a 808, it should be able to kind of do the stuff in here, but unfortunately, it does not. You have an option to do a note repeat, which is really, really cool. So if you want to do like a hi-hat, you can do your note repeat. And here is your note repeat rate. And it'll tell you once you're moving it, what rate you're actually going at. You have the option to choose your kits here. So I have a whole lot of different kits in here just from the pack. So let's try this hip hop kit. All right, and with this one, you see you have a couple of different things. So there's actually a preset option, so you can kind of go through the presets and find exactly what you're looking for. So if you were looking for like a bass, you can find a bass. It gives you a whole nice little library here. You can kind of find stuff. You have your pads, you have zones where you can find your zones for your sounds, and you can expand those zones if you wanted to. You can make your own sounds this way as well. The inserts are basically for different kind of effects. So they have a whole bunch in here. Of course, they have another gain, some delay, reverb, chorus, distortion, EQs, filter, and a compressor on here as well. Here's another option for reverbs. So you can turn the reverb on and kind of just have it on whatever you need it. There's also delays on here. And here is the master, right? So I think that's pretty cool that they have all that kind of set up on here. Options for like your drums, you can do your colors on here, your icons, you can clear the sample out. Here's the sample being played. So let's try that same bipolar kick in here. Which, what I don't understand is why they actually have two of these little sections here. I mean, it's kind of like the same exact thing. And I'm not 100% sure why they have it this way. But, I mean, if you move one, it'll move both, as you can see. It'll move both those knobs, the top and the bottom on there. But once again, there's not like a portamento where you can actually do like 808 slides. There's no option for that on here. So let's move on to the next sampler. All right, so here we are on the multi-sampler. It also has that same section where you can do like a scratch pad, and of course that Cymatics one is still in here. So you can play it, right? So this one actually gives you a couple more options. So let's kind of start over here from the left side. If you click on this, it gives you an option for the MPE mode. You have mono mode as well. I was thinking that they would have some kind of portamento on this, but once again, there's no portamento, so there's no sliding that you can really do with this, right? So this gives you an option to add a sound or a layer. This is how you take away a sound or a layer. So you can actually layer your sounds here as well. And you can remove all the sounds from the layer. So if you add this, right, and then you add, let's say, the kick. So you have these two in here, you can just remove them. Boom. So they're gone. So if you wanted to add one, you can just hit the plus sign and it's going to ask you with the new sound what you want. You can also go in here and find different sounds. Right? So you have an option to do sounds. You can remove the sound just by hitting the minus sign over here. Right? And you can just drag and drop stuff in here. as you see fit. So I'm just dragging and dropping this one from the scratch pad in here. In here, this multi-sampler will give you an option to kind of slice up the samples. So if I go to this little option here that says crop, it'll give me an option to like create slices on beat, or you can kind of like find your own like method of or transient for your sounds on the sample. So there is a remove, but there's not like an add. Like I wish you can just kind of add like your own slices, but it doesn't give you, I haven't seen that option to add like your own slices on here. So say I wanted to take this slice, I can actually go here to this downward arrow, and I can do create a new sound layer, and I just hit OK. So boom, so now I have this in here. So if I go back to the record option, and let's say I take this one, a new sound layer, right? So then let's say we wanted to actually add it to different zones. So you can set that one up to that one slice, and you can move this one to the second slice, right? Move this one to the third slice. All right. But as you can see, that is like super tedious in actually doing that. But it is an option for you to actually use this in here to do that. So kudos to them for actually making an option to do that. So that gives you an option to kind of chop up your samples on different ones. But like I said, there's no portamento, so you can't do like the slides and glides in this sampler. So hopefully Tracktion Waveform, if you're watching this video, make sure you guys add some glides and slides inside the sampler, just so we can actually use the 808s in there and make some beats. So yeah, so there's that. All right, and the last one, but not least, is Komplete Kontrol. This is the one I use if especially I'm going to be doing 808s in this DAW inside of Tracktion Waveform, because it gives me an option to do portamento or slide or glide notes, right? So usually you hit on this little bookcase option here, right? And then you can just kind of find an 808, and I'm going to go to my 808s. Let's just grab this one. And as you see, it didn't go in here. If I just grab it from the regular numbers or name, it will not go inside of Komplete Kontrol. I've been having some issues with this, but if you grab right here where the little file icon is, you grab that and you drag it, this will actually work. Not sure why it does that. Hopefully, if you guys are watching this from Tracktion, you can get that corrected as well. But yeah, so now you have your 808 in here, and I need to set this up to go to MIDI. I wish there was a way that we can actually get this to set up to MIDI, you know, kind of from the jump. If there's a way to do that, instead of going through there and trying to figure out why it's not playing. Right, so you have the 808 in here. You can change this from one shot to ADSR, and then you can always go right up here to where you have like this little volume looking knob. Click on that, and this will bring you to your voice settings. So I'm going to change this to legato. So now it's on legato mode. So if you wanted to, you could just click on it and go to legato, And then here is your glide. So I'm going to do 8 seconds. That usually works really well for me. Right? So that gives me the option to do glides and slides inside here. And you know, it's a simple sampler, just like the other sampler. The only difference is you have that option to do a glide and a slide in here. This doesn't give you the option to like slice up the sample like the other one does, but it does have a start point and it has an end point that just like the other one does. You can also do a loop mode on here, so you can activate the loop mode and loop where you want it to loop. So with that being said, I guess that's pretty much the end of this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. This is basically just going over some of the samplers that you have inside of Tracktion Waveform 13. Some of the ones that come with the free version and some of the ones that come with the pro version. If it's the pro version, something that you actually want to get, it is available on their website, but I do have a link below in the description for the free one if you wanted to check it out for yourself. I'll be doing a couple more videos on Tracktion Waveform, so definitely stay tuned. And if you haven't already, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. But with that being said, that's pretty much the end of this video. And once again, it's your boy, X.E.L. Till next time, people. Peace.
AutoRewind.